Welcome to Tools for Teens, where the smart gets smarter. In this lesson, we explore various image generation techniques and tools. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Tools for Teens. This is where the smart gets smarter, and today we're looking at image generation. So for this tutorial, I'm going to use Leonardo. Now, you can use any image generator that you prefer. I just think Leonardo is such a great platform because it has so many tools all in one place, even though it might not be the best at all of these tools. Another thing I love about Leonardo is that you get 150 fast tokens that reset daily. So you can really explore a lot of these tools without needing to pay. Okay, so let's get into image generation. I'm going to choose this option in the middle, image creation. So here on the left-hand side, you're going to see a lot of buttons and options. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. It's more or less the same thing with all of these image generators. You just have to get a grip on the basics. So what are the basics? Well, I think a good place to start is aspect ratio. So this gives you an idea of what aspect ratios are all about. 16:9 is more like a YouTube aspect ratio, and 9:16 is more like an Instagram or TikTok aspect ratio. 1:1 is just a square, and that could work for maybe web pages or a catalog, etc. The next thing you might want to look at is the quality of your image. So here you can see I have three options. I can either do a fast generation, quality, or ultra quality, I guess. And then here you can see that I can generate a small image, medium, or large. Obviously, the larger the image, the more pixels and the better the quality at the end of the day. Now, keep in mind, the moment you choose ultra and large, the token cost is going to go up. So for this tutorial, I'm going to keep it on quality and medium. And then you would want to decide how many images you want the AI to produce at a time. This is useful when you don't know exactly what you're going to get, and you might want to bump it up to 4 or perhaps 8 images at a time. Here you can see that I've generated an image of a dog, and my prompt literally was just a dog to see what Leonardo was going to give me. And this is where the presets come in. What you can see here at the top is that I chose the Phoenix model. Now, if I choose the anime model, and I run the same prompt with the exact same settings, we're going to get a different image. So here you can see that the image has changed completely. The style is more anime, even though all of the presets and the prompt stayed exactly the same. So you really want to make sure that the model you're using is in line with the style or the image that you're aiming for. So we don't have time to get into too much depth in this lesson. If you want to explore the advanced settings and all of the bells and whistles, just pick your image generator, go to YouTube, watch tutorials, and learn as much as you can. So we'll get back to image generation and how to formulate a prompt in a minute. But let's look at real-time canvas first. So let me show you how this works. On the left-hand side, you have your drawing canvas, and on the right-hand side, you will see Leonardo interpret that image on your canvas. So to get started, I'm just going to make a white background for myself here. Choose the color white, and I'll bump up the brush size to as big as possible. And I'll choose this option, which is obviously the brush option. So now I can just make that whole background white. And you can see as I'm drawing, Leonardo is already interpreting the image and sort of guessing more or less what it thinks I want to draw. Okay, so in this case, it's completely wrong. So let's say I want to draw a dog. I'm going to choose orange-brown color on this side. I'm going to bring down my brush size a little bit. And yeah, so let's see how I do. So there's the head. So you can see that Leonardo has no idea what I want to draw here. And this is where the prompt comes in. I have to guide it with language. So now I'm going to say a dog. So now we're on the right track. And now I can start elaborating. So I can say a big dog, a big fluffy dog, and so on and so forth. What you can see here is the creativity strength is pretty much maxed out. So that means you're giving the AI a lot of flexibility to interpret and put out an image. If I bring down the strength, you will see that it starts resembling my image more and more. So let's bring it down even more. So now you can see that it's getting pretty close to my original image. Again, you will find different presets. So keeping the prompt the same, keeping the creativity strength the same, I can now change the model. And I can say, for example, let's make it photography or perhaps fantasy art. And with each change of the preset, you will get a different output. I think this is great for creativity. I can just imagine teaching young children so many things with this real-time art generation model. When we get to 3D printing and building products, we're going to come back to the real-time canvas and explore this tool even more. The next tool, which is similar, is the real-time generation tool. What you can see here is that we have a prompt at the bottom and then styles on the right-hand side. So let's see if we can produce one of our tools for teens characters on this real-time generator. I'm going to try and draw Daniel. So he has blonde spiky hair, he has green eyes, he's wearing a green hoodie. Let's see how Leonardo does with this. So you're going to see that as I type the prompt, in real time, it's going to adjust the image. Let's start with a blonde teenage boy, green eyes, wearing a green hoodie. So not exactly what I was hoping for. Perhaps we can elaborate and say a blonde 18-year-old teen boy. All right, so now we have a little bit of an older teen. And the cool thing is now I can very easily adjust in real time the style. So we're looking for more of a toon anime style. I'm going to push this up a little bit. And now you can see that we're getting closer and closer to the character that we were aiming for. So I can reset this and I can push the kids illustration preset, or I can mix the two. So I can push both up a little bit. And now you have this blend of anime style with this innocent kids illustration style. Another option that I love is the coloring book option. So you can very quickly turn this image into something for children to use to color in. Now, you're going to have to erase the color in the prompt. Okay, so that's not exactly what I was aiming for. Let's see if we use one of these presets at the bottom, if we can get it nice black and white. So it says your sketch black and white model. Let's see if I use that. Perfect. All right. And now we have a black and white picture. So you can see that you have so many variables that you can use to eventually get to the picture that you were aiming for. And I cannot wait to see what you come up with. For this tutorial, we're going to skip the motion tool because that's actually a video generator and that's for another lesson. So let's move on to the upscaler tool. Here's an image that we generated for our video game design. And what you can see is this image is pretty pixelated and doesn't look very good. So now what I can do is I can upscale this image and AI is going to interpret what it thinks the image should look like at a higher resolution and make it better. So I'm going to choose the ultra upscale strength option and I'm going to maximize upscale multiplier. And then I'm just going to say upscale. And what we can see is that AI has indeed made the image much clearer, but it's not necessarily what I was going for. So again, you will have to go back and forth and play around a bit, but I think there's so much potential in this upscaling feature. And that brings us to the canvas editor. Again, we don't have time to get into all the bells and whistles, but two big features here are the outpainting and inpainting options. So to show you how this works, I'm going to import an image. And now I'm just going to choose one of the images that I've been working with recently. So let's go with this one. And what we can now do is elaborate on what is already in this image, either outpaint or inpaint. So let me show you how this works. Let's start with outpainting. The first step is to change the size of this block, which AI uses as the space in which it generates images. So now you can see that it's quite small and it's not going to do a lot. So I'm going to go to this option and make it as big as possible. All right. What I can now do is I can actually click on my image, make my image smaller, and now I can fit that nicely into the block. Note that I'm putting my image halfway into the space because I want to give AI an idea of the style and I want to give it context. The only thing that's left now is to prompt. So I gave it the prompt, a teenager's bedroom with a guitar hanging on the wall, and I'm choosing 4 images. So that means that it's going to give me 4 iterations from which I can then choose. Let's see what Leonardo comes up with. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit to get an idea of what is happening here. And here you can see option 1. I'm not super happy with that. I don't see a guitar in option 2. That's looking better. And I would probably go for option 4. But before I accept, what you can see here on the right-hand side, again, we have presets. And I'm actually going to try the same prompt with the anime pastel dream. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so here you can see that it pretty much ignored the fact that I wanted a guitar on the wall. It's just giving me a wall. But that's the deal with AI. It's always a back and forth process, a little bit of trial and error. And that's where your creativity comes in to make sure you guide the AI to get what you want at the end of the day. So I'm going to accept that image, and now I'm going to try something different. I'm going to flip this switch, which means that I'm now switching to inpainting. And now I'm going to make this block space smaller. So now I can just move that over here, and I'm going to draw a mask in the shape of a guitar. So let's do that. And my prompt will be a guitar hanging on the wall. Okay, so let's see. Option 1 is horrible. 2 is also half a guitar for some reason. Option 3 does get close to what I had in mind. And option 4 is actually an electric guitar hanging on the wall. So it's not perfect, but you get the idea. With many iterations, I can probably end up with something useful. This is where your creativity comes in. Sky is the limit. The last tool before we get to image generation and prompts is this option where you can actually train your own model. We're not going to get into training models in this lesson, but just know that it's getting easier and easier to train AI on your style and your character and then generate images from there on out.